zero dark 30 like LeBron before the playoffs. He took off all his social media and we said, uh-oh, here comes a Justin Jefferson. He's going for over 200
There's no
today.
reason I can't.
Going for over 200 today. So I think he just got caught up in the trash talk a little too much. And it got in his head a little bit. And it started early. You had that early breakup by Jair Alexander. And, credit to him. It was a little chippy. Some fans wanted the holding. It was a little ticky-tack if you wanted that holding call, but so be it. But that started the frustration, not only for the fan base, but also for the players and for Justin Jefferson, man. You cannot allow a guy to get in your head before the game, and I think Justin Jefferson was actually dealing with that. You ready over there, Justin? You good to go? No, I think Justin's still setting up. But no, man, it's extremely frustrating as a fan. It looks like San Francisco's lining up for the game-winning field goal. Again, I'm behind you guys, so I wouldn't be able to see it. John says Diggs was the same way, gets too involved. Yeah, no, I agree. I can't disagree there. It's a wide receiver thing. I get it. It's personal. But I'm not going to sit here and say Jair Alexander, oh, my God, San Francisco missed the field goal. This game is going into overtime. Justin, give me a thumbs up. Are you ready? You good to go, man? Are you still working things over there on your end? 1 minute. He's still working things over there. Yeah, that's one thing, too. That's what Rap tapping in. He wasn't able to tap in on the actual video, but he's tapping in through comment. I don't think Kirk looked his way enough either. I think we're force-feeding TJ Hawkinson. And I get it. TJ's the big target, and you feel like you can kind of put it within his catch range, and he's going to bring it in. But when are we going to move past TJ Hawkinson? Let's get some other people involved. I did not like that we were trying to force it to TJ Hawkinson so much at all. I didn't enjoy that, and it cost us early in the game. TJ Hawkinson did not have a good game today. And one thing that I'm extremely frustrated with TJ Hawkinson with, and yes, we can go back and we can bring up the big game he had last week against the New York Giants and other games as well. The thing that's been frustrating me with TJ Hawkinson, keep your goddamn feet. How many times have we seen TJ Hawkinson trip over his own feet? Like, whether it's him catching a ball and trying to get a first down and falling short by himself without getting touched, whether it's him coming out for a tight end screen and just not being able to keep his feet. Like, it's extremely frustrating. But again, I'm not going to sit here and blame TJ Hawkinson for a loss, and by any means. This is on the entire team. This is on Kirk. This is on Kevin O'Connell. Again, in that second half, we can talk about how good this defense was in the first half. That second half, the defense, not just the play, but the leadership on that defense was atrocious. Ed Donatel, dude, we had 10 people on the field on a 3rd and 10 play. On a 3rd and 10 play. Now, granted, if you run out on that field with 10 people on the field and Aaron Rodgers gets a quick snap off, you made a mistake, right, we're gonna grill you for it regardless. But no, we had 10 people on the field. Aaron Rodgers gave you the opportunity to run another player out on the field, to call a timeout, to do whatever you needed to do to get that 11th man on field, and you didn't do anything. You just stood there and you looked stupid, and you allowed them to get the easy a 3rd down conversion. It was absolutely ridiculous, and that right there, not only that, then you have 12 men on the field later on in the drive.
Well, we had to average it out,
We had to average it out, but Jesus Christ, man, like, when is enough going to be enough? I'm tired of hearing about we're divisional champs.
Hang the banner.
We're 12-4 now. You can throw all that out you want, but at the end of the day, today, you had an opportunity to have a chance at the 1 seed going into the final week of the season, playing a Bears team who has the opportunity to have the number 1 overall pick, so they probably wouldn't mind losing that game anyways. And the Eagles, who have to go and play a New York Giants team who want to beat the Eagles. And on top of that, now I don't know what's going on with the San Francisco game. I know it's headed into overtime. Something may have happened already. But you have an opportunity. If you won that game, you would knock the Packers out of the playoffs. And then on top of that, you would clinch yourself no less than the 2 seed. And now you find yourself in a position to where it's looking like it's going to be the 3 seed if San Francisco can come away with this win right here. If it's not, you're looking at the 2 seed, and you're probably playing the Packers again in Wild Card Weekend at home.
Well, here's the thing about that. So a lot of unpack there. I'll go in reverse order. You want to know what bothers me about today and the Eagles losing and the San Francisco 49ers going to overtime? I am sorry for the people who tune into my channel, Purple and Gold for Days, who subscribe to me, and I have made some previewing the Lions game. I said this is a must win. It is a must-win for the Lions. At the time, they were the toughest team left on your schedule. Clearly, Green Bay has improved and dropped them down to the second most. But what I said is I'm not thinking about the wild card round. I am thinking about the divisional round, and I'm thinking about the NFC Championship game because they raise the expectations when they have unexpected success. Going into the season, I said minimum divisional round of the playoffs because you didn't blow the team up. You could have blown the team up by putting out your coach and your GM. No, we think it was Mike Zimmer's fault. We believe we have the expectations. Great. Then my expectations for you is divisional round of the playoffs. Now my expectation is NFC Championship game because you were in position. You still are in position to get the 2 seed. Here's the deal about the 2 seed with the Vikings loss. The Vikings absolutely need the 49ers to lose today because they're playing the Arizona Cardinals next week. So good luck with that team beating San Francisco. You better hope the Raiders finish this out. If the Raiders finish it out, if you win in Chicago, you got the 2 seed, or if by some miracle Arizona beats the 49ers after, of course, then the Vikings could still get the 2 seed. But that would require the 49ers to lose today and Arizona, just to be clear. Now, everything you said about this defense, you're right. There was no leadership. There was no fight. But one more time. I said going into this season, the only way the Vikings are going to be successful is if the offense kicks it up, not 1 notch, but 2.
Yeah.
They kicked it up 1.5 notches, and the defense has kicked it up 0.5 notch. This defense was last in the league last year.
Agreed.
Your expectation shouldn't have been anything more than 20 to 25th. And so when they exceeded what is a reasonable expectation for this defense, guess what? That hasn't and wasn't going to be sustainable. It's a miracle that it was that sustainable for as long as it was. So, no, I don't blame this defense. They are who they are. When you exceed your expectations for so long, guess what? Your expectations shouldn't rise. Not for the defense. They're switching from a 4-3 to a 3-4. Everybody want to say, oh, it's the scheme because we got the talent. What talent? Danielle Hunter, he needs his hand in the grass. Zadarius Smith, okay. Harrison Smith is not the same guy because he's not in the same scheme. Guess what? Harrison Smith in this scheme is an above-average safety. Nobody wants to say it, and nobody wants to hear it. He's not the Harrison Smith that he was in the 4-3 Mike Zimmer defense because he's not even close to allowed to be. So I'm not blaming Harrison Smith on it, but I'm going to call it for what it is. Harrison Smith is slightly above mediocre. Patrick Peterson, we all love him. He's a great leader. He's got cunning and guile. Guy's old. You know what? He's old. He's not Patrick Peterson in his prime in 2016, helping the Arizona Cardinals get to the NFC Championship game and almost getting to the Super Bowl. 2015. I beg your pardon. Guess what? Who else you got? You got a bunch of young guys. Those bunch of young guys look exactly what they are. What?
49ers just picked off Stidham, and they might bring it back for a pick 6. No, but they're in field goal range.
All right, so that dream is dead.
So, it's looking like – but no, look,
anyway,
I'm going to be honest with you.
I thought about the defense.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Like I said, people say to me, Justin, why are you so hard on the offense? Do you have any brothers or sisters?
Yes.
Okay, let's just say you got 2 brothers. You got older brother who is the golden child, who lives and dies by following the rules and doing everything that is asked of him. And little brother is just a screw off, always screwing up, always needing to get bailed out, right? Yeah. At some point, the parents say, oh, My younger child screwed up again. Can't say I'm surprised by it.
Yeah.
Those are my expectations. And the one time Big Brother screws up, them parents come down so hard on him. I expect that out of your younger brother. I expect better out of you. What is your problem? And I'm like, and it's the older brother's like, man, I screwed up once. He done screwed up 50,000 times. And all of a sudden you're going to get on me for screwing up once. Guess what?
Yep.
The offense is the big brother. They have to produce 75 to 80% of the Vikings production in order to win. What they have been doing right now is it's been about 65 to 35. Guess what? The defense got down to about 20. So the only way you're going to win is if your offense puts up more production, and they didn't do it. I understand. Offensive line, shorthanded all over the place.
Yeah.
Jair Alexander shut Justin Jefferson down. He backed up his trash talk. But moving forward, with whatever you do against Chicago and whatever you do in the wild card round and wherever you end up in the divisional round of the playoffs, this offense has to carry this team. When this defense gets you a 3-and-out or gets you a turnover, you have to take advantage of every opportunity because this defense is never going to be what Zimmer's defense was. My rant over. You were about to say. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm saying the 49ers did us a favor. And I know I've been on the train of it, you know, I don't care who we play in the playoffs. If we're going to win the damn Super Bowl, we're going to win the damn Super Bowl. Well, with how we look today, I'm not as confident. So now I'm looking who we're going to be playing in the first round. I'm telling you right now, if we were to have to play the Packers in the first round again, which we won't because the San Francisco 49ers, I mean, I'm sure they already made the field goal. They're lining up for a 23-yard field goal.
They already did.
So next week
everybody.
Next week is a bye week.
Yes.
Next week is your bye week. You do not play a starter next week. You pull your entire offensive line. You don't play Kirk for one snap. You don't play Dalvin for one snap. You don't play Justin Jefferson. Don't worry about no goddamn receiving record. Do not allow us to get any more injuries. We don't know what's going on with Brian O'Neill. We don't know how serious that injury could be. Now, they said it was a calf. Hopefully, it's just a calf strain. And if he takes a week off, he should be good to go for playoffs. So don't expect to see Brian O'Neill 100%. Like, he will not play next week, regardless of what the coaching staff decides to do, starting or sitting their starters. But next week should be your bye week.
Yes.
So what the 49ers just did for us. Now, obviously, we would still have a shot at the 2 seed if the 49ers lost last week or next week and we, beat the Chicago Bears.
Right.
But I'm looking at, do you want to play the New York Giants at home again? Or do you want to play the Packers, the Seahawks, or the Lions? If you had to choose out of all 4 of those teams, who would you prefer to play?
I would choose Seattle, but there's no way it can happen now.
I would probably choose Seattle, but outside of Seattle,
I'd go Seattle, New York, Detroit, Green Bay.
You go New York. Yes. And with what I saw today and with what I've kind of been preaching, San Francisco and more Brock Purdy aren't as good as what you think they are.
No.
Now, defense is great. Their defense is freaking. Now, today they gave up 500 yards to Jarrett Stidham and the Las Vegas Raiders. So it's possible to put up yards and points on this team. They had to battle with the Las Vegas Raiders all the way through overtime, and they finally came away with the win. But that team's beatable. I don't care if it's on the road. I don't care if it's in San Francisco. That team is beatable. So you still have the opportunity to have a matchup of I'm taking on Daniel Jones and the New York Giants at home, and then the possibility of I'm playing the San Francisco 49ers and Brock Purdy in San Francisco, which isn't some crazy home field advantage like it would be against the Saints or that it would be in some cold area like possibly Green Bay or Philadelphia. So if you're looking at how the seeding's kind of working out and you're kind of seeing how the matchups may or may not work out, I think the 49ers did you a favor in winning today. I really do. Because you're avoiding that possible third matchup with either the Packers or the Lions. And just in general, I don't like seeing divisional opponents in the playoffs. They know you too well. You you can't depend too much on, hey, we're the divisional champions. We had 12 or 13 wins this year. You can't rely on that because those teams know you far too well. So give me the Giants in the first round and give me Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers in the second on the road. I'll
or
take
Geno
that.
Smith. I'll take Geno too.
Or Geno. So,
but neither one, it's not going to work because you are now at the 3 spot, which means you're going to play the Giants. If you get the 3 spot, which we're both saying it might as well, you don't play your starters because in order to get the 2 seed back, you would have to win and San Francisco would have to lose. There's a 95% chance that San Francisco wins right off the bat, and it might even be closer to 98. Guess what? Yeah. You just rest your starters and accept the L that you done blown an opportunity by losing to your 2 division rivals. 2 out of your 4 losses. You lost to Philly, you lost to Dallas, you lost to Green Bay, and you lost to the Lions.
You got embarrassed in 3 of 4 of those too.
You got embarrassed by Philly. You got embarrassed by the Giants. You're right. I wouldn't call Detroit a complete embarrassment, but it was a lackluster game at minimum.
And you let a offensive tackle get the 4th down conversion to beat you. So insult to injury.
To circle back to your point about San Francisco, all I'm going to say, 2 things. That's what we said about going into Philly with Nick Foles. We all said the same thing about Nick Foles. So keep that in mind. Number 2, San Francisco is beatable if you have an offensive line and a defensive line. We don't. When you say they're beatable, yes. The Green Bay Packers, because they have an offensive line, could stay with that defense.
Would you say the Raiders have an offense or a defensive line?
I don't know enough about them, if I'm being honest. So I'll just punt on that one. But what I am saying is the Green Bay Packers, they just got David Bakhtiari back after about a year off with an ACL injury.
Yeah.
And guess what? Green Bay Packers are back to having an offensive line that can hold all over the place without being called. They couldn't do that with their backups. Whatever it is in the water in Wisconsin. The Green Bay Packers know something about how to hold and get away with it.
Today wasn't about the Packers, in my opinion, though. Today was about us.
No, absolutely. Today was about our offense completely crapping the bed again. They crapped the bed in Philadelphia. They crapped the bed against Dallas. They crapped the bed today. They managed to start putting it together against the Detroit Lions because, well, the Lions are clearly a step below those other 3 teams. By the way, Green Bay's in the playoffs because they're going to beat Detroit next week, and that means they're in. Green Bay controls its own destiny. They win, they're in. If Detroit wins, they are in. If Seattle loses. So the only way Seattle can get in is they have to win, and they have to hope Detroit beats Green Bay.
Oh, okay.
That's the scenario.
So Detroit needs some help. Even if they win, they need a little help.
What's really funny about it is right now Seattle is in the 7th seed, and Green Bay and Detroit are tied for 8th, but Seattle doesn't control its destiny. Right now, they're in that spot because of conference record or something else. I don't know how the heck those –
but that changes next week if the Packers win.
Yes.
Even if Seattle wins too.
If Seattle wins, they would be 9-8. If Green Bay wins, they would be 9-8. Green Bay wins the tiebreaker because they have a better conference record. Now, if Detroit wins and Seattle wins, I don't know how Detroit beat Seattle earlier. That's why. Okay.
Yeah,
they would have the head-to-head tiebreaker. So again, the only way Seattle gets in is if Detroit wins and they win. Any combination of the Packers win doesn't matter what Seattle does. So, but
and Washington being eliminated today too.
But you know what though? You know what? That's the other reason I rest my starters. Let Green Bay go to San Francisco, and if they win, let them go to Philadelphia. They would then take 2 out of the 3 teams, and then we would take on, assuming we win our game, we would take on the winner of Tampa Bay, Dallas. And if Green Bay beats San Francisco, we would have the divisional round against Dallas back in our place because the Green Bay Packers at the 7th seed would go to Philly.
And what's funny is that tie for the Giants actually helps them. Because if they didn't tie in that game, they would have got a loss. They would be 9-7 right now with Seattle having the tiebreaker over New York.
Correct.
So then New York would be in a position to where playing Philly next week, they would need to win that game to keep that 6th seed and avoid Seattle. So that tie actually avoids. That's what clinched them the playoffs today. Actually. If they didn't have that tie, they wouldn't have clinched the playoffs.
Correct.
And it hurt Washington.
Mm-hmm. Well, wow. the thing about that tie is they've also, in addition to clinching, they've locked in the 6th seed.
Yeah,
So they can take a bye next week.
that's what I'm
Now,
saying. Philly looks like they'll lock into that 1 seed, but you never know.
no, you never know. Here's the deal. If Dallas wins next week over the now I'm sorry, Philly's got who next week?
They got New York. They got the Giants.
All right, so that means Dallas has Washington. Washington's got nothing to play for. If Dallas wins and New York somehow wins, the Dallas Cowboys are the 1 seed and the Philly Eagles are the 2 seed. It is unbelievable.
Yeah.
So,
yep. And then you got Philly and more than likely Green Bay in that first matchup in Philly. So, yeah, man. Well, again, you look at the playoff.
They still have a path, but I'll say it like this, and let's just get it. Let's just get it out in the open. We can say all we want. Well, it's okay because they'll be the 3 seed. And
it's not okay.
They'll face the Giants, and if Green Bay wins, they'll take out San Francisco, and we won't have to play them. And they're a bad matchup. They would go to Philly, and one of those 2 teams would be in the NFC Championship game. And if you get past the Tampa Bay Dallas winner, then you'd have, if Philly lost, the only way the Vikings could play the Packers would be the NFC Championship game at home. And oh my gosh, how much fun would that be? But let's not look too far ahead.
Oh man. I don't know which one I couldn't take more of. I don't know if I couldn't take a loss to the Packers or another loss to the Philadelphia Eagles. Those are the 2 teams I just despise.
No, it's not even close to
the
me.
most.
It's not even
Packers,
close to
right?
It's Packers would be worse. Packers would be worse.
Because you've had the type of year that you had. You won the NFC North. You know, I mean, we are feeling ourselves. We're talking our trash.
Mm-hmm.
And then if it came down to that and the Packers were to take us out, that would be probably
go to the Super Bowl. Are you kidding me?
That would be one of the most. That would probably be the most painful.
That would be more painful than 98 to me. That'd be more painful than losing to the Dirty Birds, and definitely more painful than losing to the Saints. Definitely, no question. It would be worse than losing to the Saints.
Yeah, no, I'm good with 3 seed. I'm trying to find positives from this game, and it's so hard, especially when you lost. Well, but did it end up being 41-10, or did we score again?
I didn't even look. I was just
last time there was 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, they scored again, 41-17. But you know what? Hey, we scored last, and Kirk Cousins got his garbage time touchdown. By the way,
no, I think Mullins got the last.
Yes, Mullins did get the last one. I'm saying right with the first one Cousins got. So you can't say he didn't get on the scoreboard.
Yeah, you're trying to dig for positives after a game like this, and it's extremely hard because you're emotional, and especially it being a divisional rival. But I'm looking at it to where this actually might benefit us as far as playoff matchups. I mean, because if you win this game, it's different. Because you win this game, you knock the Packers out of the playoffs. Now it's between either the Seahawks and the Lions that you're more than likely going to play in that wild card round. But what this actually does, again, it's hard to find a positive in a loss like this. But
there's none.
I mean, you got a bye week now.
Yes, that's the positive.
That's the positive. You got a bye week.
And if JJ comes at you, you say, sorry, son. No chance.
I understand you had a bad game last week. You only had one catch.
We're not risking it. We're not risking. We saw what happens when you get shut down. Our entire offense is done.
Yep, exactly.
Our defense is what it is. You can't expect them to be anything more. I said going into this game, get to 31 points. All you need to do is get to 31 points. I said the Packers would score probably 24-27. Guess what? Their offense, if you take away the 2 touchdowns, score 27 points.
Yeah. Yep.
You needed to get to 31 on offense. Now, yes, the kickoff return for touchdown is not on either the offense or the defense, okay? Mm-hmm. The interception, pick 6, I don't know. Was that the one? I think that was where the ball was tipped, but guess what? Yeah, that's what happened. This is the NFL. You can't say the quarterback is absolved from a pick because the ball was tipped. That's football. If our defense tips a ball, what do we say? They got an interception and they got a pick 6.
It was one of those throws that we're trying to force it to TJ Hawkinson.
Yeah.
That was one of those throws to where
TJ Hawkinson is a blessing and a curse.
I want to see how many targets TJ Hawkinson had today.
I'll get that for you. Hold up.
How many targets did TJ Hawkinson have? It's got to be 14, 15 at least. And I think Justin Jefferson maybe
12.
had he had 12 targets.
Mhm.
It felt
You're
like
right.
a whole.
It seemed like 20.
It seemed like 20. At least 10 of those were in the first half.
I
But
give you this. I'll say it like this. TJ Hawkinson was the only player that had double-digit targets at 12. Okay? Let's go through the rest. Jalen Nager, 3. Who cares? KJ Osborne, 7. All right. Dalvin Cook, 3. All right. Adam Thielen, 4. Justin Jefferson, 5. Alexander Madison, 1. You had 9 targets to Thielen and Jefferson.
Case closed.
Case closed.
We had a couple games where we had this issue to where Justin Jefferson just wasn't getting enough targets, and eventually that was fixed, obviously. But I mean, Adam Thielen, man, like we got to talk about it. We got it. Is it time to take Old Yeller back to the barn, man? Is it about that time? Because
almost.
I'm not seeing anything from Adam Thielen, man. I'm not.
If you had a legitimate number 2, and with all due respect to KJ Osborne, he's not a legitimate number 2.
I agree.
Adam Thielen is a high-end 3. KJ Osborne is a solid 3. If you had, and I'm not saying it, if you had a legitimate number 2 receiver, like Adam Thielen was a legitimate number 2 receiver to Justin Jefferson. Yeah. And guess what? Adam Thielen was the 1B to Stephon Diggs 1A. They don't have that right now. I've said it before. We said it the other day in a space we did, and I think we said it on the Super Show we did on Thursday. Draft a wide receiver. Draft a best wide receiver in this draft. Because
that's what it's looking like.
At the end of the day, you can draft all the defensive players you want. Yeah, you need some defensive linemen. Yeah, you need some cornerbacks. Guess what?
Need a lot.
Offense is what carries you. All your talent is on offense. Kirk Cousins, Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, Brian O'Neill, Christian Darrisaw. Stack your offense. Yeah. Stack your offense and don't expect much from your defense. And when they actually give you something, dang well, better take advantage of it.
There's going to be a lot of notable names that aren't on this team starting next year. Regardless of how this season ends, whether it ends in a Super Bowl, whether we fall short of that, there's going to be a lot of notable games and a lot of players that it's going to hurt letting them go. And Adam Thielen may be one of those guys, which I'm leaning on more if he's going to take the pay cut and kind of stay home. I don't think he wants to play for anybody else.
But he's going to have to accept that he's clear. He's no longer the 2, that he's the 3.
Oh, yes. Yeah. And to be honest, I think Adam's a guy that understands that. So, you know what? Look, if you're going to bring in a young guy, because let's not forget, I think KJ Osborne is on a contract year, right?
Yes, because he was a 4th-round pick he was a low-round pick, so only 4 years. So,
I think.
What are you going to do there?
I think
are you going to lock into KJ?
No, I think KJ gets paid, and I think he goes somewhere else. I think he's a productive receiver elsewhere.
Yeah, he can be a decent. Maybe if let's say hypothetically, let's say he just went to Buffalo and he was the 1B to Stephon Diggs.
Well, no, Josh Allen. He wouldn't be the 1B because Gabe Davis he would be the number 3 there.
You think he might be more productive there when you've got Gabe Davis and Stephon Diggs as opposed to just Justin Jefferson and we use TJ Hawkinson in that second role?
I think they throw the ball a whole lot more than we do, it feels like, or at least they drop back a whole lot more than we do. Right. But even their number 3 option, Isaiah McKenzie, he gets a lot of touches. He's he's their speedster guy. But what kind of receiver is KJ? Is he a possession guy? Is he, downfield guy? What kind of receiver is KJ Osborne? Like, where does he kind of fit in? And that's not necessarily a good thing or necessarily a bad thing, but usually coaches want to know what you're good at and they want to put you where you'll succeed the most. So,
you want to know what he is?
What is it? What does he do? Contested catches? What would you say?
What KJ Osborne is a wide receiver that doesn't know what he is because he hasn't had the opportunity to show what he is or what he isn't. And that's unfortunate because he's about to come off his rookie contract. You want to keep a guy where you don't know what is he a jack of all trades where he's, good at a lot of things but not great at anything?
Yeah. You can't pay him though. Because
you really can't.
You're gonna have to pay Justin Jefferson. And I think if you come to Adam Thielen and say, hey, look, we're gonna draft a receiver in the first or second round. We got to kind of mold him into do we not have a second round pick? right? We traded Hawkins for Hawkins.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
right?
we don't have a second.
So, probably a first round pick. It's a good chance it may be a receiver if we're sitting there and there's a quality receiver sitting there in the first round at our pick.
Mm-hmm.
We're probably going to go with the young guy, and he's probably going to be our number 2 receiver, Thielen. So we're going to kind of need you to be that mentor to mold that young receiver into the guy, kind of like how you helped Justin Jefferson mold into who he is today. So I think if you come to him and kind of give it to him like that and say, we want you to finish your career in Minnesota. We do understand, probably don't have very many years left, but we want you to retire here as a Viking, but we can't pay you what we're planning on pay you. Do you have the cap hit for next year for Adam Thielen?
I'll get it real quick. Here's what Mike and I said all offseason. Okay. I don't care which direction you go, but no sacred cows. If the legacy players, Adam Thielen, Harrison Smith, Eric Kendricks, if they want to take massive pay cuts to stay here, I'm listening.
Dalvin
Cook.
I'm
not. Dalvin Cook's another one. Those are the 4 guys. And we didn't know about Danielle Hunter because we didn't know about his injury status. So those 4 guys, if they don't take massive pay cuts, I'm done with them. And I don't mean it like I don't care. And I don't mean it like they're not any good anymore. What I'm saying is I am not finna pay Dalvin Cook what he is scheduled to make next season. I'm not finna pay. All right, let's get through here. Eric Kendricks, let's start with him. He's got 1 year left on his deal, and he has no guaranteed money. So you would have a dead cap hit of 1.9 and a savings of 9.5. Okay, so that's a guy right there where it's like, I love Eric Kendricks. He's one of the top 5 linebackers in Vikings history. Dalvin Cook, if you cut him, 6.2 million dead, 8 million saved. Let's get Harrison Smith.
How much dead money for Dalvin?
About 6.
I feel like Dalvin, I think, is number 1 on my block, my trade block right now.
Harrison Smith would be dead 12 million, savings of 7.5 million. This is all per over the cap. So if another website's got some different numbers than this is all per over the cap.
And the thing with Harrison is that he's putting up a really good statistical year. I think he's got 4 interceptions, 4 interceptions. So Harrison may be in a spot to where he doesn't want to take a pay cut, to where it's hey, I had one of my better years is statistic wise. I think I should be getting paid as one of the top safeties. So
you're gonna run it back at 14 million for that guy? 14 is his cap. 14 million.
That's the thing. There's a lot of tough decisions that are gonna come after this season. But again, Dalvin Cook is number 1 on my chopping block. I love Dalvin Cook. I don't think that he doesn't give his all. I believe that he goes out and he does whatever he needs to do for this team, just like he always says, I'll do whatever it takes for this team. But he's just too fragile to where I don't like counting snaps for players. I don't like having to go into games like, okay, well, we got to make sure Dalvin comes out of this game healthy, and we got to make sure we don't overrun Dalvin this game. And he tweaked his shoulder again today. And it's just this thing that keeps lingering and lingering. And how long are you going to let it linger until his trade value is 0?
Correction. Paris has it right. KJ is under contract for 1 more year after this.
Okay, KJ has 1 more year.
I still draft a wide receiver first round.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Anyway, circling back, go ahead. Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, Dalvin Cook, man, I think that's the guy that's on the chopping block. And this may be your last opportunity to get something of value back for Dalvin, because I don't see Dalvin's career, headed to the up trajectory.
Yeah, there's fewer days ahead. There's fewer days ahead than there are behind.
He's on the back 9. So if there's any time for you to trade Dalvin Cook and get something back for him and get that money off your books, it's this offseason. Correct. You have talent at the running. You can go out there and you can sign Alexander Mattison for probably $6-7 million a year, which I think is a good deal for Alexander Mattison. Or if you want to go a different route, you can go and draft another running back. You have guys like Ty Chandler, which I wouldn't want to go into next season with just Ty Chandler and Nwangu as our running backs.
Correct.
You have to come in with the guy that's been in this offense and Alexander Madison, or if you work something out with Dalvin Cook, or if you bring in another running back. But you cannot pay Dalvin Cook, I think it's $14 million next year, if I'm not mistaken. You cannot pay him $14 million with the production we're getting out of him. Our run game's non-existent. And that's going to be the downfall of this team. That is going to be one of the main reasons, outside of probably protecting Kirk Cousins and this defense, of why this team does not go far in the playoffs like we want them to. So I just think Dalvin Cook and that cap hit and his production, it doesn't match. So you got to go cheaper at the running back position, and it's one of those moves that's going to hurt, because we all love Dalvin Cook. I mean, as a Vikings fan, how could you not love Dalvin Cook?
Absolutely.
It's hard not to love that guy. But when you look at the business side of it and you think, okay, Kwesi's supposed to be this guy, Moneyball guy, to where I'm not looking to pay you for your name. I'm looking to pay you for your production. And if Dalvin's not giving us that production, we can't pay you $14 million per year. I'm sorry, dog.
By the way, I was giving you this year's numbers. I'll just go through the list real quick. Eric Kendricks next year, 11.5. Danielle Hunter, 13. Dalvin Cook, 14. Adam Thielen, 20. Brian O'Neill, 20. Okay, fine. Dalvin Tomlinson, 7. Harrison Smith, 19. Okay. I beg your pardon. Harrison Smith and Adam Thielen at basically $20 million each. And
what was Thielen's cap hit next year?
19.9. So just call it 20. Just call it 20.
Yeah, that's you got $40 million wrapped up in a number 3 receiver who's not producing for you right now. And Harrison Smith, which you can argue, hey, he's well deserved of that money. But when you're looking at the team right now and you're not necessarily getting the production on the defensive side of the ball and your pass coverage, then probably gonna have to go a cheaper route with Harrison Smith. And I know it's crazy, and we're talking about who needs to go after the season and this and that, especially after a loss like this. It feels so grim. Even though we're NFC North Division champs, we're gonna be hosting a playoff game, probably against the Giants now. Regardless, this is a story. This is going to be a tough decision this offseason. And these are the things that are costing us the games that were costing us. I mean, today they bracketed JJ. Now, Jair Alexander, I'll give him his credit. He talked this stuff and he backed it up. I'll give him that. But that defense was also bracketing Justin Jefferson a lot. It wasn't one-on-one coverage to where you were just locking down JJ.
And that defensive line, and that, in addition to stopping the run.
I mean, we're down to our third string center.
True.
I mean,
true.
If I were to tell you in August, Justin, you don't know how valuable Garrett Bradbury is for this offense.
There's no way.
You don't know how important Garrett Bradbury.
I would have said, what kind of green are you smoking?
You don't understand how important Garrett Bradbury is for this offense. And right now,
it's amazing.
We are all sitting back and praying and hoping we get Garrett Bradbury back for playoffs. I hope that car accident wasn't too bad. I think we should have him back. They noted it wasn't a bad car accident. He was dealing with it was a back injury before that as well, right?
Right, something like that.
And it just kind of added to the hurt on his back. So,
hey, real quick, I only got a couple left, so I'm just gonna tie off. I'm gonna say it like this: the season is not over, and we're gonna go to the playoffs, and we're gonna most likely host the New York Giants.
Yeah,
because the New York Giants are the 3 seed, and the Vikings shouldn't be trying to press for the 2 seed because it's not going to happen. Yes, if you rest your starters, you are locked into the 3, and you give San Francisco the opportunity to rest also. So what? There's no reason to force San Francisco to play it out when it would be risking your injuries at
get healthy and go beat those Packers in the wild card weekend, San Francisco.
You mean the Giants?
No, I'm talking about San Francisco.
Yes,
go ahead and rest your starters week 18 so you can get ready for the Packers. Knock them dudes out, man, and I'll see you in Santa Clara.
Guess what?
Divisional
it's either going to be the Packers or the Lions or the Seahawks. So,
hey, man, All I'm saying, but look, I'll tell you right now, don't be surprised these 49ers lose to the Packers if it does end up being that matchup.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
It's
I wouldn't
still
put it past
Brock
them.
Purdy. It's still Brock Purdy.
Hey, real quick, everybody. If you don't already subscribe, go to Purple and Gold for Days on YouTube. That's my additional channel. Programming note for the Purple Code this week. Purple and Gold for Days will still be broadcasting tomorrow, but Skull for Days with Mike and Kyla and me will be moved to Tuesday at 6:30, one day later than our normal time. My normal Tuesday show, Under the Lights with Dave, will be moving to Monday night. We're switching those 2 days. Rap and Dave will still be going on Tuesday at their normal time. So if you don't already subscribe to Purple and Gold for Days, please do. We have Ted Glover as our guest tomorrow, who is podcast royalty for the Vikings, who used to be with the Daily Norseman and Climb in the Pocket. You all probably know him. So he's going to be our special guest with me and Dave tomorrow. But like I said, as far as the Purple Code goes, no Dave and Mike and Kyla tomorrow, but we'll have a double header on Tuesday.
Doubling up. Make sure you guys double up on Tuesday.
And guess what? Even on Tuesday, I'm pretty sure all of us are still going to have something to say about this nonsense here. And again, it was just embarrassing. It's like, you know what? If you lose to the Packers at home by 7 to 10 points, fine. But you got embarrassed. And guess what? You are frauds after that.
Yeah. No,
I'll say this. The word frauds should have been, are they fraudulent to be a Super Bowl contender? And that answer is yes. Are they fraudulent to be divisional round of the playoffs? Probably not. But
yeah.
anyway.
No, we can't be mad at the fraudulent title after
not anymore.
Like this.
Anyway, I gotta bounce.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna wrap it up anyways, guys. Everybody, thank you for tapping in with me and Justin.
Thank you much.
It is the Purple Code live post game. Unfortunately, the Vikings lose 41-17. Dropping us to the number 3 seed, but hey, that might benefit us later on. So
there you go.
Try to enjoy the rest of your Sunday, guys. I know it's rough start to 2023, but you know what? We still got more football to play. So we'll see you guys next Sunday, if not through the week, and then we will see you guys in the playoffs. So that's what we got to look forward to. But I'm out of here, guys. It's your boy SK with the Purple Code. Peace.